I loved that singing, Liz.
Yeah, Liz, we need more of that. That is
impressive. But I loved it's fun talking about fun, Brandon. That was fun.
Well, thank you.
Really. Yeah, I think couples can do that, exploring it and just enjoy that pretense and that anticipation, like you said.
Yeah, doable date nights.
I love, so you each have worked with Naomi Brower?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love what the emphasis she gives on play. In fact, she wrote an article about date nights and play and loved it. She's awesome. Awesome advocate of it.
She is terrific. We'll have to talk with her about that. Thank you for mentioning it.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Rex. What do you think?
Rex?
That was good. I liked the tips, especially the insights about novelty and nostalgia and things like that. That just doing the date nights brings up and helps people to connect with. I wanted to know. So you said you have 70 different date night ideas on Instagram. How did you come up with those?
Yeah. Honestly, some of them come from quiet drives home where I just choose to turn off the audiobook, podcast, or the radio and just take an idea and sit with it and think, how could this be packaged as a date? Or sometimes in conversations with people, an idea will be brought up and then my brain will just jump over there. Sometimes it's ideas that other people have suggested to us and we'll just package there and shout out to them for what they've suggested.
Would you give that same advice to anybody who's trying to think of date nights for their significant other?
Oh, very much so. So when I really started to take ownership over this, with this practice, mutual investment with this practice with Danielle, I sat down with my laptop, listed out the Friday nights for the next 3 months and put down 2 ideas or so, and then felt this dread and panic. Like, what are we going to do for the other weeks? I
feel like that's just scheduling sometime.
Yeah.
I could only imagine. Yeah. But that's just staying with it and not leaving that moment of discomfort, but staying in it. Ideas started to come of venues to look up online. And I pulled up a few lists that people have created and similar thing. Nah. What if we tried it this way? Then different ideas start to come up and I felt more settled. So I use Google Sheets to track ideas and information. And so I've got this whole spreadsheet of at home, away from home, different things by month that can work. And it's just been fun to be able to build a system that works for us. And it wouldn't work for other people, not everybody, but stay with the thought long enough for that creativity to come.
How often do you recommend that a couple goes on dates?
So relationship experts, you'll see weekly or near weekly. I personally trend toward near weekly. Like one year when we set a goal, we set a goal to go on dates 50 weeks out of the year. And I thought someone could read that and be like, you lazy man, there are 52 weeks, you live long enough.
It's Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, I'm a practical lazy man. We have kids and we have, with the number of people, there's potential for illness and just weeks where we're pulled literally away from where we live. And so it really may not happen. And I learned that if we try to force it, then it starts to feel less rejuvenating and connecting. And so to have that intention with some practical flexibility, that's been a pretty big help for our relationship. Though I will mention, one week we knew we weren't going to be home or in an environment to do a date. And so we were driving to California. I created a road trip date. So we got our kids all on their devices. And then Danielle and I had a date just in the front seat, traveling from Scipio down to Beaver. And I had like 4 different activities that were part of the date. And I don't know. It may not have been an all-star, 5-star date, but it was pretty fun.
Of course, that's what you did, Brandon. No surprise. That's hilarious.
Very
I love
creative.
It. Very clever.
My last question would be, what date did you guys have that's been the most memorable for you, and why?
Is it cheating if I say our first date?
No, that's the most
great.
memorable
What
and
did you do?
what meant the most.
Yeah, I'd been crushing on Danielle for like 5 months, and finally got the courage to ask her out. But to do it, I did it as a secret admirer. And actually, I wasn't going to ask her out initially with that. I just wanted to give her a reason to feel good about herself. But then last minute, I was like, ooh, I could ask her out, but I don't know how to remain anonymous. Then I thought, I could create a Hotmail account. So I created one called Danielle's Admirer at hotmail.com. And like, this was before like creepy was in the vernacular. So it was still in the realm of like, that's kind of fun. So she responded and said yes to that. So I just kept during the week leaving things on her doorstep, building to that night. And so we go out, we went to an Italian restaurant, and then we went and did some kind of it was on Valentine's Day, did an activity with some other couples. I showed up Friday night. I left her 2 orange roses and said, you'll recognize me tomorrow night. I'll have the 3rd orange rose. And anyway, so that was part of it. To find out orange roses are her favorite. I had no clue, but it worked out wonderfully. But anyway, after the fun thing with the friends, we went to a park, and I taught her a basic like box step waltz kind of thing. We just danced at this pavilion. My parents made us take lessons at a senior citizen center when I was a teenager. It was rattling as a teenage boy to dance with some of these much more mature women. But it served its purpose.
It did.
Yeah, we've recreated that date a few times. That's definitely got the nostalgia factor for us.
How's Danielle? Is that like her favorite too, you think?
I think it would be up there. Danielle, if there's meaningful conversation, there's fun, then she's happy with the date experience.
That's incredible. I mean, the time, the effort, the thought, everything you put into that is really cool. And I have to say, I've had experiences where my wife has put a lot of thought or something into something that just blew me away. And I would have to imagine that would probably have blown Danielle away. That's really a very cool story. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, thanks for asking. It worked. She was willing to keep dating me, and here we are 20 years later. Yeah. She's so awesome.
Congratulations.
I did want to say I really liked what you said too about don't make it perfect, just make it happen. And sometimes it's just people I try to make things perfect sometimes, and it's like, it's paralyzing because you almost can't finish. But just like get it done. That done is better than perfect.
Yeah, I agree. And that's from her experience. For a stretch, she would do these date ideas where there was a lot in the setup, so much in the setup that there wasn't as much in the activity itself. And so she realized if she could dial back that and not stress about perfecting these details, but really focus in on the substance of the activity, then it could become there could be more gained from the date experience. And it's fun. And by the way, not every date idea, I should say this, works. We've had some that it just didn't work out. Like there's this mini golf with consequences where you, instead of tracking your scores, you track it based on gum. Each of you has a pack of gum. And if I shoot under par on a hole, Danielle has to put a piece of gum in. If on that same hole she shoots over par, she has to put another piece of gum in. And then vice versa. And you go that way through all 18. And the first time we did it, Danielle picked cinnamon gum. Her mouth was burning. That was not a super connecting date. The next time we tried it, she did fruit gum, and it was much better, much better.
That's great.
We kind of learn as we go, don't we? That's right. In marriage, whether it's dating or anything we do. Well, I love it. Brandon, you're lovely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you for adding so much to Stronger Marriage Connection.
Thanks so much, Bennett.
Thanks for joining us today. Hey, do us a favor and take a second to subscribe to our podcast and the Utah Marriage Commission YouTube channel at Utah Marriage Commission, where you can watch this and every episode of the show. Be sure to smash the like button, leave a comment, and share this episode with a friend. You can also follow and interact with us on Instagram at Stronger Marriage Life and Facebook at Stronger Marriage. So be sure to share with us which topics you loved or which guests we should have on the show next. If you want even more resources to improve your marriage or relationship connection, visit strongermarriage.org, where you'll find free workshops, e-courses, in-depth webinars, relationship surveys, and more. Each episode of Stronger Marriage Connection is hosted and sponsored by the Utah Marriage Commission at Utah State University. And finally, a big thanks to our producer, Rex Polanis, and the team at Utah State University, and you, our audience. You make this show possible. The opinions, findings, conclusions, and recommendations expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of the Utah Marriage Commission.